Jesus did not live in a world without scriptures, but in one where the scriptures had already been emptied of truth by mythological stories. He knew that not only had the temple become a den of thieves, but that the law and the prophets themselves had been turned into instruments of religious power. What had once been the direct expression of divine revelation had been reduced to a powerless text. Truth had not been lost by forgetfulness, but cast to the ground, exactly as Daniel 8 declares. When Daniel writes that truth was cast to the ground, he is not describing mere doctrinal errors, but a deliberate betrayal of revelation. The law and the prophets, meant to express faithfully the mind of God, were subjected to a slow but profound process of Alexandrization, a fusion between the original Hebrew thought and Hellenistic philosophy. The first great assault was not military but textual. In Alexandria, the law was translated into a foreign language and placed within a foreign framework of thought. Septuagint was not simply a translation, but a redaction. The words of Moses were altered with Greek mythology and concepts of cosmos, soul, and divinity. There, in that syncretism disguised as scholarship, the truth was first cast to the ground. After the law came the prophets. What had once been a moral call and a vision of divine justice turned into a fabric of mythological symbols, cosmic prophecies, and oracles of power. The prophetic spirit was replaced by the interpreter and conscience by the system. Parallel to this textual corruption, the temple had become the center of a religion of profit and domination. Jesus did not only see merchants in the temple court, he saw the same mechanism that was also at work within the scriptures, truth being sold and God reduced to the ornament of human power. When he said that the temple had become a den of thieves, he was not speaking metaphorically but theologically. Just as thieves steal what does not belong to them, the priests and scribes were stealing the meaning of the word, presenting it as God's own. The law was used for domination, and the prophets for manipulation. Religion had become a mechanism of spiritual power without truth. This is why Moses announced, "A prophet like me," Deuteronomy 18:15. That expression does not merely announce a person, but the restoration of revelation itself. The Messiah did not confirm what had been falsified, but replaced it with a living one. When he said, "I did not come to destroy but to fulfill," he meant the fulfillment of the authentic part, not the mythological one. Jesus knew the difference between the law of God and the law of the priests. He knew that the human commandments, rituals, traditions, and symbols added over Moses' words had produced another religion, a law of men that excluded God himself. Therefore, he relied on no temple, no system, no institutional authority. He spoke as one who has authority, not as a priest, but as the very source of truth. But humanity did to the Son of God exactly what it had done to the law and the prophets. It destroyed him. Not only through crucifixion, but by falsifying his message. After his death, the same Spirit that had transformed the Scriptures also transformed the gospel. Philosophy reinterpreted the words of Jesus in ontological, mystical, and abstract language. Instead of a moral call to conscience, came dogmas about natures, essences, and divine persons. Instead of freedom in truth, submission to faith was imposed. Just as the law had become religion, the gospel was made into theology. In fact, it was the same den of thieves, now expanded to the ends of the earth, a system that steals the divine meaning and turns it into human power. Jesus was reduced to myth, his message to dogma, and his truth to theological opinion. Thus, history repeated itself. The law, falsified; the prophets, twisted; the Son, reinterpreted. Why did God allow it? Many ask how God could have allowed such degradation. The answer is, God does not protect objects but truth. When the temple was profaned, he did not defend it. When the scriptures were falsified, he did not intervene. And when the sun was falsified, he did not intervene. He waited until the lie would exhaust itself. Until modern times, philosophy was presented as the replacement for revelation. In the name of reason, humans believed they could discover truth without God. But in recent decades, philosophy itself has confessed its failure. After 2020, it is increasingly acknowledged that philosophy no longer produces truth, only opinions. What once was wisdom has become the interpretation of helplessness. Today's world has neither temple, nor scripture, nor prophets, nor philosophy. All have been emptied of truth. When no source of truth remains, when humanity has nothing left to turn to, God intervenes again to restore revelation. This restoration is what we call Mekora, the revelation unaltered, freed from the myths and philosophical intrusions that turned truth into dogma. If you still care about truth, if you still believe that understanding and integrity matter, then this is your moment to return to the source. To explore Mekora further, visit melekministry.org.